shit, there's a lot of people watching already. Hey everybody, how you doing?
I am tired. Both of us just woke up from a little nap after.
Yeah, sometimes the power naps are a good idea and sometimes they're not. You just wake up and you're like, oh shit, what day is it?
Yeah, I wish I would have went and got an energy drink, but which I probably should have because I got stuff I got to do today.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're all right. So who's in the house? We got Mike O's in the house. Rose, how you doing? Monique. I don't think I've seen her before. Maybe I have. I don't know.
Arliss, ESP, Fantastic, Foxfire, Lucky Rooster, which is BJ, Mike O, Monique, Rose, and Sue, and Wisdom.
Sweet.
Which I think Wisdom is in on yours because I'm looking at my.
I'm scrolling down through. Oh, Julie's here too. Foxfire's here.
Booberry.
Maisie's here. Jillian Daniels.
Yeah, don't be doing too much of that.
I know, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I won't do it. I'll be good.
How many of you guys checked out Boo's video this morning? Or when did it actually release? I didn't see it until this morning.
So I screwed up. I thought I had set it up I wanted to put it out for my members first last night. And then at 2 p.m. today, I was going to do a premiere. And I thought it was set up that way. But apparently it just went live right when I posted it. It went right to public. So it was a big fail on my part because I don't like releasing stuff that late at night because it's too early in the morning for the European people and way too late for the American audience. Although Crow, you guys seem to pull people in overnight. You and Dawson and Nightmare Nation and all those guys. You guys have your overnight streams.
Yeah,
you guys are like the Art Bell show.
I mean, I listened to Art Bell for years.
Yeah. Yep. I still go back and listen to like archived episodes of that.
Me too.
That's some fun shit. Yep.
Nerd Unite.
Yep. So yeah, that was the botched release on that one, but it worked out well. I woke up to a lot of views and comments and stuff on it, so that's always fun. I like. Do you guys both reply to all your people that comment, or a lot of them, or try to?
I do, everybody.
Yeah, I enjoy doing that too. That's fun.
Kenny in here too. What's up, Kenny?
We better behave. We're about to be debunked now. I'm just kidding.
There's enough room on the panel. I don't know if you're interested in joining or.
See, this is weird. Why don't I see Kenny in the comments?
I think he's in Josh's stream.
Okay. Oh no, I see him now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had to refresh.
We're running off the same thing, so it should show.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We aren't y'all fancy.
Yeah. No, StreamYard is. I'm an idiot. I wouldn't be able to figure that out.
So y'all can change your live stream?
Yeah, so like he'll set it up and put the link up, but then I'm sharing the link onto my page so it looks like I'm broadcasting too. Like, separately, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna send Kenny a invite or the link.
Oh, not that fucking guy.
I'll have to ask him if he's ever taken apart a REM pod.
He has.
I got some REM pod.
Can you talk about how there's a certain chip in there? It's a certain name for it too. It's a very common, very cheap chip that is inside the thing. I forgot what it was now.
Something I was wanting to ask too about the music box.
Yeah, those seem to go off all the time, or quite a bit.
Hell yeah, they do. Especially, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, in like cat balls too. It seems like some of them go off all the time, and others just don't ever go off. So it's weird.
I got a bunch of different. I got cat balls. I got different brands because I have cats, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, they fucking go off all the time. Just watching TV, just sitting there. Yeah, totally. So
Well,
house.
I bought 6 of them, and I'm gonna do that some night. Just while we're out watching TV, I'm just gonna put 6 of them out on the floor and see if they go off. I just want to find out what makes them go off.
One thing I've noticed that people don't realize about cat balls is when you're at these locations, especially the older floors, if you're like walking around and stuff, those they're going off, they just a little vibration in the floor makes them go off easily.
Yeah. That video that I put out last night, that was one of the things. The guy would freak out when his cat balls would go off, but it was like, dude, you're up in an attic walking on an old wood floor. You're about 3 feet away from it. You're gonna make enough motion that thing's gonna go off.
But
all right,
those music boxes, man, some go off light. I know one goes off light, one goes off of I forgot what it was, but the light really sets them off, especially if you like you angle it towards a wall or something, or something that's halfway reflective.
Yeah.
I think also I think the cheaper ones don't have the further distance. So I'm not sure, like if there's a wall, if you're pointing at a wall, and if that wall is within that distance, I think it could set it off. I'm not too sure. I think that could happen. So I mean, maybe that's something that we could ask Kitty if he knows. But
I wanted to get it would be that chime thing that carryouts use at the doorway, just that little beam. When you line 2 of them up and you break it and it goes dee dee. I thought about getting that and trying it somewhere just to see if that goes off on its own or.
But yeah, we can go ahead and let them know.
Okay. So do you want to say it or do you want me to?
You can go ahead. I'll get the banner.
Right. So we did the drawing off air, and Jeffrey Kuhn and BJ Stockton. It's Stockton, right? Stockland. Jesus. So you 2 are the winners, and you will be going with us to the Middle Point School.
Come on down.
We need some cheers music.
I was going to say,
Stockland. Did I spell it right? Oh, no, I spelled that wrong. It is Stockland. My bad.
Okay. So congratulations, BJ and Jeffrey. And Jeffrey, I still gotta call you yet today. I've been busy. I had to cut the grass and do household chores. I'm not allowed to play until I get my chores done. Like a big kid. I'm just kidding. Dana, I gotta defend her. She would never tell me I can't do something because I haven't worked yet. So I don't want people to think she's just cracking the whip around here. Did you guys like her in that video?
Fuck yeah, dude. Sorry, she stole the show, dude.
We discovered that one day. I was out here watching a video to react to, and she's in the kitchen, and I just heard her just going off on what she was hearing come out of the computer screen. And I was like, okay, we got to get this on video somehow, because she is just absolutely tearing these guys up. So I was like, we got to put you in some videos. I
love her sassiness when she did a little thing with the finger on, a little finger thing. Oh my god, dude! I was like, wow.
And she's got some ADHD, and it's like it flares up from time to time, and it was in full on flare mode that day.
Is anybody able to put the link for the video and for the?
I can do that.
Good, because I have no idea how.
I can copy and paste it, but I'm not sure.
Look who's here. It's our buddy. We're sheep.
Yeah. We got starting out with 40 viewers. We'll see what he ends up with.
Yep, Sue sees it. Hey Laura, how you doing? Yeah, Fantastique's asking which video.
It'll be Boo Paranormal's recent video that he just uploaded last night or this morning.
Yeah, it was pretty late. I don't even know what time it was. I had a couple Saturday night cocktails. That's probably why I screwed it up on how it got released. So, yep, those two people, you guys are going to be lucky. And let us know, like, early if you can't make it, like, let us know. And because we definitely want to fill up the spots. So what else is going on today, Josh? You said you had to work.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hot Road tried to comment here.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. He said something
did,
about sheep. I don't know.
He said, "Yeah, welcome sheep" or something like that, or "hello sheep," or he'll probably make a comment on his live later tonight about that. I might try and see if I can get kicked out of that one.
I'll be BJ.
Oh, so Lucky Rooster's BJ.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that art that he does blew me away. That was some cool stuff. Both the shape painting and the crow one. Those are really, really cool.
Yes, it blew me away. It really did.
Yep. Yeah, and you asked him if he could put a hot dog in it. That's a serious piece of art, Crow. You can't go tainting it with hot dogs. Wisdom. You missed it. The guy that we did a video on here recently just chimed in and called us all sheep, and then got removed.
Well, it still shows over here that he's still in here, so he's still watching.
Oh.
I mean, he might as well see what a small channel's view looks like on a live stream,
or what a real investigator looks like.
So like
four viewer premiere ended up getting.
So like these, we take and we throw them in the garbage. Oh, I'll try to be nice. I'm just like that.
I'm trying to be that sheep thing kind of pissed me off.
Yeah,
I've been trying to be diplomatic about it, but he's really fucking pissing me off now. Yep. So
it's, and you know, when he had his video up, it was the comments too that he made about himself that were like, man, dude, you've got a massive ego. Speaking of egos, just kidding, Kenny.
Yeah, Dan. That's
we'll flip each other off through the Brady bunch box.
How's everyone doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just chilling.
Kenny, you've been posting a lot of hot dogs lately, dude.
That's your fault, bitch.
Like I said, that one night you guys did that live, and I was like, motherfucker, dude, I am so eating hot dogs tomorrow. I had such a taste for hot dogs that night. And like, that's what we're doing for breakfast. Because it was way too late to get the grill out. Oh, Wisdom said I did it the wrong way. Yeah, I did. There. That's
I would just implore, if Haunt Row is watching, he should just drop the act, drop the bullshit, join us, learn how to investigate for real, and stop being a dumbass. I was watching his videos last night. It's absolutely atrocious what he's doing over there, and I just think he's approached the whole thing wrong. Let's just wipe the slate clean and just admit you suck. And let's just,
and maybe go over to Kenny Biddle's channel and check out.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I hang out with Kenny Biddle, and
just throwing Kenny into it. Kenny ain't done nothing over here.
Kenny's like, who is this guy?
Yeah, Kenny don't even know what's even going on.
What are we talking about?
This channel called Haunt Row TV. It's the one that, did you see that video that he put out about Seg and the Conjuring House live that they did, and Joe, and he put out a video ripping them, calling them fake, and he debunked their proposal and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, the guy that like just sits in front and just bitches about everything.
Yeah, that guy.
In front of you. All right. Yeah, I saw a little bit about that.
Yeah. He could use some education from your channel for sure. Hey Dana, how you doing? I used to be in the foundation with Dana. But yep, that's the guy.
So is he like, what's his deal? Is he on the warpath against everyone, or is he?
Well, not exact. I mean, from what I've seen in the comments, that he tried to get a hold of some debunkers to look at his footage. Nobody looked at it, so I think that because he didn't get the attention from the debunkers, that he just ended up going the opposite way, and then just trying to attack them.
Yep.
That doesn't sound too mature.
It's either that or he's just trying to. I think he's trying to pull off the whole. You know how Dawson and Side Eye Guy kind of became friends. It didn't start out that way. I almost think he's trying to recreate that, and thinks that we're not smart enough to figure that out. So,
I don't know too much about him. I mean, I've seen clips and stuff on like your video, Jeff, and somebody else did something on him. Joe was talking about him. Joe was giving us some information about him, but other than that, I haven't had any interaction with him. But it doesn't seem like it's really worth the time.
No.
So
it isn't. It isn't.
Nope.
And that's what it really comes down to. I mean, like channels like that, or people in general like that. I mean, when they're not worth the time, then I don't like to give it to them.
Yeah.
You know, like when I get hate mail, once in a while I like to post it just because I think it's funny. You know, I find comedic value in some of the things that they say, and I'll post it, but I don't post their name or their email address because I don't want them to get the attention, because that's what they're looking for. You know, so I kind of keep it in the dark, and that pisses them off even more because it's like, well, why aren't you afraid to put my name? I'm not. I don't want people giving you attention.
Yeah.
Just like Josh right here said, to put him on the pay no mind list.
Yep.
So you're giving him exactly what he wants. But yeah, he just jumped in the chat, the live stream, and said something, but he instantly got.
Yep.
Yeah, when it comes to that, I mean, I understand like the knee-jerk reaction because you want to react to them, you want to say something, but in these kind of cases, at least from my perspective, the best thing you can do is just completely ignore them. You know, if they're not making any kind of like valid points, if they're not doing anything except trying to stir the pot, then why bother? You know.
Well, the reason I did the video, I get everything that you're saying, and I 99% of the time agree with that. But when he talked about their proposal, that instantly pissed me off. And then I don't like getting lectured by people that call themselves the greatest paranormal investigator ever, and those are his words. I don't like.
Did he actually
I screenshotted it. It's on a comment that he made. Yeah.
Okay.
And then when those people want to lecture everybody, but then you watch their channel and they're like out there with flashlights, cat balls, and spirit apps. I mean, that bothers me.
And the acting was just, I'm sorry, but the acting was atrocious.
Yep.
So. All right. So on other things, I don't think. Yeah, he's not on mine anyway, so I don't know if he hopped over one of your guys' streams or your stream, but hopefully not. Just
I haven't seen him.
Hopefully we can ignore him. But I was going to ask you, Kenny, have you ever messed with getting into the music box, right? Yeah. Like the one that Dawson had and the other one, like the more expensive kind?
I haven't had much interaction with that because not many people that I know have them, and they're expensive. And there's at least two models. And then Beardo actually sent me something. He asked me about that too, and I started looking into it a little bit. And one of the interesting things that I did find was that the sensor itself, so the ultrasonic sensor that's used, you can get it for about average around $30. And then you have to hook it into a board to have the readout, but it's uses sound in order to locate things that come into the area. And I think the one of the warnings is that it doesn't work well below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And I mentioned that to him. I mentioned that to Beardo. I was like, this is actually on their site. Like, the people that sell it say this, and he's like, oh, all right, because wherever he was with one, he's like, it was well below that. So there might have been a problem, and I haven't looked into it, like why this is an issue. I think it has something to do with the sound, the sound that it puts out, the ultrasonic frequency that it puts out. It travels slower when the temperature drops. So above that, though, or besides that, I don't know too much more about it. I mean, the rest of the stuff, it looks like it's almost like a 3D printed box. The music box is only like $2 or $3 that you can get with all the gears and everything that come with it. So I mean, it's really, I saw that it was ridiculous amount of money, like $300 or something.
Oh, is that what those sell for? Holy cow.
Yeah, I forget what it was going for, but I looked at it, I was like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not buying one of them.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, one's like 200, and the other one's like 400. They're like the better version of that or whatever. Same company,
Right. So the PMB, on Amazon, it's going for $350.
Jesus.
$350. And I mean, I understand workmanship, so I understand like, if you're putting stuff together, but you're looking at it like this box in parts. The most expensive is the sensor itself. Like I said, it's like $30 for that. But the rest, it's probably about $50 in parts altogether. And putting it together, I mean, how long? I'm curious to see how long it would take to put one together. You know, is this something that goes together in like a half hour? It's not a big deal. So I mean, charging $300, you know, above what your parts is, that's a lot. You know, and my big thing, and I'm sorry if I'm talking a lot. I just
you're good.
No, you're good.
You're used to it.
Crow. One of my big pet peeves with this is that it's like you see it on videos or see it on TV, but the people that order it, honestly, when you ask them how it works, none of them so far can tell me how it works.
Yeah.
You know, or that it's the very basic, like, oh, it sends out sound and it's kind of like a sonar kind of thing. So, you know, has anyone tested it? You know, how easy is it to make it go off? What happens if you have a low battery?
Yep.
You know, does that, you know, the surges and the power surges that's going to come about when you have a low battery, like, is that going to set it off over and over and over again? Or how wide is the range? Because I did see that some of the sensors had a different angle range in degrees. So, I mean, that'll make a difference if you're trying to sneak up on it. So, and I don't know if laser pointers or infrared light or UV lights or any of this has any effect. It shouldn't, but because it's based on sound and sonar, so it shouldn't have an effect. But who knows? I think, Josh, you said something about seeing a flake of dust or something when dust or Dawson blew off the sensor.
Yeah, so, I was hoping that it would have showed up on the camera, but I couldn't see it on the camera. But yeah, as soon as he blew it, I seen like a big piece of dust fly right towards me.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'd really like to get my hands on one and test it. So if anyone has one and they don't want it anymore,
Dawson, just donate yours, buddy. Come on, donate your music box to science.
He won't. He likes that.
And the thing somebody asked about the thing that Sean wears on his head, that is an app made from Amy's Crypt. Yeah. They make the ghost tube and stuff like that. They're the ones that designed the app for that. So it's just an app.
So it's as reliable as the phone apps.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably just sit it on the table
form.
And that picture is going to show up no matter where you are.
Yep.
That's real ghost hunting.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Joe, do you want?
We had a client once that had an app that had visual stuff like that and white noise, and it sent this. She screenshotted this picture of, you know, some nasty gnarly face, and she was worried that that's what was haunting her, and so it was for Android at the time. And I said, download this app and see what it does, because I knew it wasn't something real. Sure enough, within 5 minutes she had the same picture on her phone. So it just, it has pictures programmed in it that, just pop out. And I think it was even saying the same stuff. So it was, it's like, well, there you go. It does amaze me how much, people that say that their house is haunted and, the residential type clients, that how much YouTube they watch and how much they buy into all these apps, and they freak themselves out because they download them. And, the ghost radar. I've had people say, yeah, the ghost radar says there's 3 or 4 of them in here. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Dude, that's a problem of the faking channels too, because they're putting a false sense of what's actually happening out there in these people's heads.
Yep.
When we go to that location, we should download that Ghost Radar app.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got time to have a little fun there.
Wow. And look, if you like using apps, that's fine. I can't take it seriously. For my belief system, you cannot believe a $10 app can talk to ghosts. I just can't get there. My mind won't let me.
Yeah. Hell, Spirit Talker's only $3. So it's not even 10.
Your mind detonated years ago. I don't understand this fascination with apps. I mean, we have an app for that, for everything. I get it, but what the fuck makes you think it talks to ghosts?
Well, it's real-time responses instead of just sitting there and asking questions and listening to it later. It's real-time interaction, quote, heavy air quotes. But I think that's why, because instead of sitting in a room just talking to nothing, it talks back. I think that's why so many people are fascinated with them. I
guess my question is then, is it real time? I mean, if you don't say anything, will it still spit out words?
Yes. Yep.
So then it's not real time. It's going to do it anyway.
Yeah. Because I've done that with my Spirit Talker. I downloaded it just to see what it does. And there's been times where I'll just sit here and turn it on and put it on my desk, not say a damn word in, edit or whatever. And it'll say 50 things in a half an hour. Demons, death, I'll have 45 ghosts running around my house before the half an hour's up.
Right.
Thank you, Julie, for the one gifted. Sorry, I didn't get to that.
That's the amazing part to me. It's just, there's nothing, I guess for me, because I look for the science behind everything and consumer reports and testing and product testing. So what's the product testing with these apps that, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but is it the ghost hunting friends of the person that wrote the app saying, hey, I tried it and it really gave me something that I can't explain because I didn't really try to explain it because I just wanted the app, is that what's going on here? Because I want consumer reports. I want the data. Show me where this was proven and what protocols were in place. If not,
I think the product testing is, okay, do words actually come out of this thing? Yes. Okay, it works.
And I mean, yes, sir.
You're just not leaving yourself open. You have to be open for these things to work.
You know that phrase, have an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls out.
Yeah.
That is when your brain falls out.
Yeah.
It just splat like chili dogs all over the floor. It's just, let's put a little critical thinking in this and realize that these apps are designed for entertainment. They are not going to prove anything with this, because in order to communicate or detect something or with something,
Mike.
you need to know the qualities of that something. And in this case, which is a ghost or a spirit or a demon or whatever entity you want to talk about, we have no idea what the qualities are, even if there are any. So this is tossing lawn darts up in the air and not even knowing where the circle is. I don't know. They hit the ground. The lawn dart hits the ground. Let's put the circle over there. And hit the target.
Yep. I just turned mine on, so let's see how many ghosts join us tonight. John's already here within 10 seconds.
There you go. Is that working off the word bank?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's interesting too.
I mean, I think it is. I'm assuming it is, because I do know it says, I'm starting to get, I played with it enough that it's starting to repeat phrases, or it'll say things exactly the same way as I've seen on YouTube videos.
It repeats itself. I mean, how many times have you heard it say, "I'm from the 1800s"?
Yes, it does say that.
I just want to say the real problem is that you guys are just jealous because you don't have that many subscribers and you're not that successful. That's the real issue here.
It really is.
I agree.
So John is
Joe.
Damn it.
Shut up, fake Joe.
So apparently the ghost John is outdoors. I'll keep you all up to date.
I don't know. I used one of those apps on an airplane trip, and
did you?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I got a lot of words because I was in motion, really fast motion, and one of the apps, it detects when you're moving around because the app is actually meant to just stay stationary.
Oh, okay.
But they're moving around and shit, and it's setting off the one of the sensors, and it's throwing a word out there. But yeah, I've gotten I was murdered here on the airplane or something like that. I'm buried here, and that airplane I took was
a lot of bodies there.
I'm just saying,
Ghost plane.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Okay, Wisdom's gonna run Ghost Tube, he says. Yeah, it's in theory too. This is one thing I wanted to try, so I'm gonna have Dana download Spirit Talker on her phone too. And I want to put them side by side someday because in theory it should say the same thing.
Right, I've done it, and completely different. Yeah. Or the one won't come up with any words for quite some time, and the other just banging out words.
Yep. Oh, Kenneth is here with us, so we're having a party.
Kenny, Kenneth is.
It just said Kenny.
Is your original name Kenneth?
Yeah.
It's proof that it's real. It just said Kenny, and Kenny's here in the chat in the stream.
It's an app.
So like when Kenny was doing the Estes method at the Bel Air house, there were certain things that Kenny had said, like something like TV or something like that. And we're like, oh my God, I was on TV once. Yeah. And then Side Guy's like, I have a TV. I'm like, you know what? We can be on TV because, YouTube or whatever I said. So we were connecting these imaginary dots to kind of make a point.
I got it out New Year's Day. We were all sitting around at my in-laws' house, and I got it out just to explain to them how they work because they are curious about what we do. And I said, they're garbage, and here's why. And so I opened it up, set it down. They all started jumping to conclusions as to what it said. Like, oh, that's relevant because so-and-so used to be married to that person. And it's like, you're missing the point here. Like, we're trying to disprove this stupid ass thing.
This reminds me like so much of when you get a psychic reading, or a mediumship meeting, because they're asking questions, and you as the sitter you're supposed to fill in the blanks. You connect the dots, and that's what I see with these apps. It spits out a word, even if you ask a question. And this came up, Joe, with us at the Bel Air house. Like, we ask a question, and what comes across as an answer does not answer the question. It has nothing to do with the question. So if it doesn't, then you should ignore it. You should just write it down as a miss because it didn't answer that question. Except that we do see people change their whole conversation. It answered this. Oh, let's go that direction instead. Still thinking and having the impression that they're talking to a ghost when they're talking to an app or a radio. They're not talking to anyone. It's not. So I want to go back. I kind of misspoke the in real time idea because now I'm thinking about it. It is still in real time, but it's not connected. There is not a two-way conversation going on. It's two separate tracks that are happening. Yeah. Just like if you put a radio on in one room and then you go into another room and play the radio on a different station and have them both going. It's separate tracks. They have nothing to do with each other, and they're just going. And that's what I see these things as.
So when we run the spirit box, whether it may be for like an Estes method or whatever, I'm like, these have to be direct answers. And I don't like doing the whole Estes method thing, but it's like let's see what happens here, kind of thing. If I don't get a direct answer, I'm moving on to ask the next question. Now, in my videos, you will also hear me say, "Okay, I'm gonna play along with this," but there's like this hidden like teaching moment going on when I'm doing that, as in now I'm following along, and I'm connecting these dots.
Yeah, it always changes the line of questioning. I think next time I do an Estes method, I'm going to have a list of 20 questions. And that's all we're going to ask is what's on that list. And I also want to split the output to a recorder.
Yeah.
So that, is that indeed what that person heard?
I had to get a specific cable to actually do that.
Yeah.
And I brought that cable with me to the Bel Air house so we could do that. And I totally forgot about it.
Can I say real quick on this? Because I actually bought a spirit box, and when I got it out and I turned it all the way up, to get that, get it going really good, and I sat there, and honestly, guys, I felt more dumb talking to that than I did the app, because it was like that. I already was on the edge of a spirit talker. I'm straight on spirit boxes, but as it was sweeping through stations, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I think I might have ever done. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't to that moment exactly where I went, wow, this is fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I feel like it's a one way thing. I don't like I'm interacting with anything, and also people have been coming to me lately like with, hey, check the spirit box thing out, and I have a few friends who've been doing that, and they get some pretty cool things, but at the end of the day, it's like it's doing exactly what I would expect the radio to do, and that's to say words because it's hooked up to a radio tower. It's so it doesn't surprise me when a word comes through, even if it's on a channel that doesn't spit out, because they'll say, well, it went an hour without saying anything. Boom! It says something. Yeah, that's what it does. So it doesn't surprise me.
I watched a team use the spirit box. I heard "Sweet Child of Mine" come through. You heard the words "Sweet Child," but I knew the song immediately. And they're like, it said "Sweet Child." Oh, she had a baby and it died. Oh, and I'm like, oh my! Then it came through again. The song in a different part, and they reacted to it. I'm like, this is Guns N' Roses.
That's hilarious.
That was the part when I was stuck doing it, and just full disclaimer, I fucking hate that method. But
yeah, you made that clear.
Oh my god, I can't believe people use it. It's such a waste of time.
Was this before or after the handcuffs?
That was before.
Yeah, before.
But like I kept picking out, like I picked out a commercial that I recognized, and then I picked out Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire, and I didn't realize it until after I watched the videos that Dawson put out, that he was like, just say the words, Kenny. What it means, just say the words. I'm like, this is
Riley. Yeah, we were asking questions, so if you think you hear something thrown out there, it doesn't mean that's what you're actually hearing.
Right.
But it was funny because I believe we were like, this guy in the chair, and you said debunk or debunker or something like that, and that was hilarious. We're like, oh, come on.
Yeah, he said that it was pronounced the way that I spelled it on the screen, but I forgot to leave that part in. So I don't know. People are probably wondering why I spelled it like that. But you said it sounded like debunk with a G and then a K.
Right. And like with those things, there's an interesting one of the channels that I watch. It's about English pronunciation, and it's a school teacher, and she teaches like proper pronunciation. And she went into this idea that some of the words that we use, because we usually say things so fast, we have words that are mixed together, like they're tagged together, and when you take out the beginning and the end of a sentence, you can't figure out what someone's saying. And she actually used clips from the TV show Friends and just cut off the first word and the last word of a sentence that different characters would say.
I think I watched that video.
It's fascinating because you realize you can't understand basic English words when you don't have the right context.
Right.
And when you don't hear the full sentence. And when you're playing that radio in your headphones, that's exactly what's happening. You're getting just bits and pieces of commercials and news broadcasts and just all this stuff, and you don't have the right context. So, right. I think I said in the beginning when I started doing it that things were going by so fast, I couldn't pick out like I knew there were words, but I could not pick out what was being said because I didn't have the beginning of the sentence. I didn't have the right context. So it was really difficult unless something just stood out. And then even then, I wasn't sure if I was hearing the entire word or if I only got part of the word and I was forming a new word out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just, I think altogether, this falls into a category of just anomaly hunting. It's not there's no science behind this.
I love that phrase, by the way.
Thank you. It's not an investigative method. You're not investigating using this. You are creating anomalies in order to have something to talk about. Right. And whether you do it deliberately or you're just not aware of what you're doing. And if that's the case, which I think is, for the most part, that's the case, I think you should learn more about science.
Well, if it's the white noise, like Joe said, me and Joe talked before, like it's supposed to be the white noise, blah, blah, blah. That's awesome. Let's just download some white noise and let that play, and let's talk to ghosts through that, or find a dead channel that has just an AM channel that's no signal, look it up on Google, let it play. And I've done it before. Just let an AM station play. You'll never hear a fucking word. Only until you change the channels.
Someone had mentioned that somebody said to play it in reverse. I was like, well, it doesn't matter which way it's going. If it's coming through the white noise, it's coming through the white noise, not the radio station. So it doesn't matter if it's going in which direction.
Right.
So, I think what they meant was it's less likely to get words if you're playing it AM backwards.
All
because go ahead.
I'll touch on that too. So if it's white noise, then me throwing that radio into two Faraday bags, all we're getting is static white noise.
Yeah.
Nothing came through, right? And we all know as soon as I pulled that out there, it all changed. There was a lot more sounds coming out.
Yep.
With the reverse scanning, there are a lot of people who believe that when it's scanning in reverse, that means the words are coming through backwards, when that is not the case.
No.
That's not the case at all. It's just scanning backwards.
I never thought of it that way. I feel stupid now. I feel really dumb.
Jeff learned something today.
I have learned something. I learned that with what's going on here, I can make a whole damn episode. So I'm going to let you guys go and put the wig back on and take Mountain for a ghost hunt.
Also, even if you properly reverse stuff coming through the spirit box, there are going to be things in reverse that are going to sound like words. There's a lot of words out there that if you say it backwards and it's cluttered with other words, it's going to sound like a word.
And where did that idea come from? I mean, besides like the nuns in Catholic school that was, constantly told me there were demonic messages when you played things backwards. I even had a nun do that. She brought in a record player and played records backwards to tell me that there were demonic.
I think most of us grew up in the Satanic Panic era.
Yeah, I went to a Baptist high school, so we got that sermon all the time. Led Zeppelin, play it backwards. It says, "I'm the Bible, please spit on me," and they play it, and it's like, sure shit, it does. Or that's what it sounds like. Now
it's like someone's trying to tell us that if you play these recordings in reverse, we're going to hear actual messages. Like, why? Why? Show me why. Show me why. Before you spew bullshit out there into the public, tell me why.
They do. Actually, like I said, I sat through a lot of these sermons, and what it is, okay, so like one big example was Jimmy Page was a Satan worshiper from Led Zeppelin. So there was a lot of backward masking in Led Zeppelin music, and it was their way of getting their message across subliminally because they couldn't say it forward. So what they were saying is that they put that in their songs in reverse on purpose.
But if people actually
hit your subliminal brain
to other bands outside of Led Zeppelin, like the non-mainstream bands that were out there that were pretty popular, they were like very anti-Christian and they were very straightforward with their messages. But why would anyone want to hide some satanic message? And that's just stupid.
That's how the devil works, Joe. God damn.
And
don't fight it.
I mean, I remember, and maybe you guys remember watching that whole, I think it was on 60 Minutes, where they talked about subliminal messages and commercials and shit like that.
Yeah. Yep. Where they flash Coke up in a movie at the movie theater for a split second.
Difference here with that kind of thing, because like subliminal messaging is more you take out one frame of film So you're running at 24 or 30 frames per second. So you take out one frame and you slip in a Coca-Cola sign, and you try it to see if that increases sales. That's one thing, because it might be a visual stimuli. Most likely you're not going to see it. It's not going to do anything to you. Right. And I'm pretty sure those studies were actually shown to be false, that the data was tampered with afterwards. But we're talking about hiding words in reverse on a song. Your brain's not going to work that way. We're not going to pick out something going forward and be able to pick out a hidden message that would only be heard going the other way. I mean, that's a stretch, and that's not tapping in the subliminal messaging. That's if you had a recording and you had a very soft spoken whisper that when you turned it all the way up, you could hear it. But if you were listening to it regularly, you wouldn't hear it because it would go by so quick. Maybe that would be part of it. Mm-hmm. But purposely putting something in reverse, no, you're not picking that up. That's nonsense. And it's the kind of stuff that we really have to dig into. And I mean, the reason I'm being so blunt is because if you're calling yourself an investigator, these are things that you're supposed to investigate. Mm-hmm. Like, this is part of your quote unquote job. So, you should learn about this stuff. And to have someone say, well, it's in there, you can hear it when you play it backwards, but we pick it up and we know what it says when we listen to it normally. No, that's just not the case.
What's back when I was in school, I mean, their whole thing was just to scare us from listening to rock music. That was the whole purpose of all those sermons.
Right. But it made you want to listen to it even more.
Mm-hmm.
It made you want to go home and start like, I'm gonna play
dude, I used to. So one of the first tapes that I got was Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. I had to hide that so my mom wouldn't find it. Like, that's the kind of house I grew up in.
Yeah, my parents didn't care, but I mean, there was always music, always around. When I was growing up, like Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, and like Jethro Tull, and like all kinds, like Rush. Fuck, dude, it was great.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to hear any kind of Madonna.
I didn't want to hear any.
I didn't go out and buy the album, but like if it came on the radio, nope. Mom would come in, turn it off.
Oh man, that song like a Virgin. That was that song offended my mom so bad.
Oh, there were a lot of people upset over the song. What was it?
Like a Prayer.
Like a Prayer or something like that. Oh yeah.
She came with those cones. Oh boy.
like ice cream cones.
Oh my goodness.
And I've seen some footage of her live, and I'm thinking to myself, like recently here, and I'm like, lady, you need to go home, sit in that rocking chair, and just knit
and put some clothes on.
Just be done with it.
I'd still have a go.
Yep.
She's like almost 70 years old, Crow.
Dude, it's Madonna. You have if you're called to duty. It's your duty as an 80s kid. You have to.
I mean, are you gonna pull her diaper to the side there, buddy?
Oh no!
That's what she was wearing on stage, a diaper.
Depends.
But it was a thong diaper.
This Madonna concert is brought to you by Depends.
Oh shoot!
Oh man,
ruined that for me.
Joe, how long have you been using those Faraday bags?
I used them. I probably
when Kenny came around
2 or 3 times. Yeah, okay. I've been wanting to get them. I watched Kenny's Biddle, and he said that those Faraday bags weren't good. But then I've seen Nightmare Nation of them. They used it, and it seemed like it worked pretty good. So I went ahead and bought it, and it works good. I mean, just whatever you're going to throw in there, try to double up on it.
Double bag it like Madonna.
Double bag it.
Double bag it like Madonna.
So have you ever tried the cat balls in your Faraday bags?
It wouldn't work. I'm just kidding. I mean, Jeff, come on.
Let's just throw everything in there.
Faraday bags and boxes. Like, this is the box that I use. I made this. So you can actually, let me see. You open it up, and it's lined. It's got I think 14 or 16 layers of aluminum foil and mesh, steel mesh, aluminum mesh, and it blocks out. Actually, radio frequencies go around it. So if it comes and hits the surface, it goes around it and comes out the other side and continues on. So if you put in like REM pods in there, or radios, or even EMF meters, or anything that can be affected by radio frequencies,
cell phones,
effectively. Yeah, cell phones. I put my cell phone in there and I call it. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that's why I love using it. And I mean, if you're going to use a ghost box, which is a radio, that's what it is. You really need to control the radio frequencies that are in the area, and you need to put that in a box. You know, like I made it this big specifically so I could tell ghost hunters, like, hey, if you're worried about your ghost not being able to talk to this radio or through this radio, there's plenty of room inside. Keep the lid open. Tell them to get in. It'll be temporary. You'll let them out. But
so if you were to put, say, a spirit box in there with a cord out to a speaker, would that ruin the thing? Or that little gap where the cord comes out, would that be fine?
Make as an antenna.
Yeah, it works as an antenna of the cord. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that becomes a problem.
Shoot.
You would need to shield you would need to wrap the cord all the way into the box. I mean, everything has to be shielded,
insulated. Yeah.
So how about just using, if you go through all this trouble, just downloading different kind of white noise, and just using the white noise tracks to talk to, versus trying to dampen all this radio signal stuff.
So the idea is that that wouldn't work because it's closed
radio,
and it's not connected in such a way where communication would be possible.
And I had a friend.
You want me to keep going with the excuses? I
had a friend download white noise, and they actually put little things in it. So there were things. So whoever recorded the white noise, put very, very small, slight voices in it. So he was like, "This shit's working. This shit's working." I'm like, "Dude, someone put that in there." I'm telling you, to me, it was, because I was right up on it, and it was pretty obvious that it was faked.
I mean, honestly, the best way to use a spirit box is to put it in a Faraday bag or a box, or just put it on a station that is just completely dead, not going to get any kind of interference, which, I mean, there's still the possibility that a radio station or something like that could come through. But I mean, if you can find a spot where there's just dead air and it's just static, I mean, why not just do that? Oh shit, I forgot, because YouTube and right. Never mind.
Taking all the fun out of it.
I mean, I use this just as a control. That's it. Because when people do try to convince me that a spirit is
said my name, bro.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's. I want to be able to show it. What's it say?
It said my name.
You know what? I have an uncle named Jeff.
Yeah.
I know like 4 Jeffs.
We could be related.
I mean, like,
you'll never hear it say any more toilet paper. Go run to Walmart for me. You'll never hear it say like regular day-to-day things. It's always things like "we died here," and that's what these ghost hunters go. Oh, it's intelligent responses.
Yeah, it's given about 7 names so far. Are you hearing me? I can't protect you. Dark entities. It's spewed all kinds of dumb shit.
So I'm going to write down a word on this paper.
Ooh.
So whatever spirits are around Jeff, if you want to pop on over here and read what's on this note, and then put it on that app.
Well, if they're around me, they're probably demons, not spirits. So,
I will be 100% convinced if it says this word.
Okay. So I'll spit out the words and as it says it. Said killing.
Like Joe said, I don't know if you're using the bags, but he said the double up on them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that when he did that. When you put the radio in the bag, rolled it up, and then put it in the second bag, rolled it up. I mean, that was beautiful because it really does. It's your backup. It makes sure that there's no frequencies that are going to get through. and we can just listen to nothing. Nothing happened.
No, yeah, exactly.
See, that's the problem. That's no fun. You guys have just taken all the enjoyment out of this. A little pissed off.
Damn.
Let me ask you though, Kenny. What if it says the word on your fucking paper? What are you going to do then? Like, what would you be impressed?
I would be.
Well,
Me
if
too.
you
I
wrote
mean,
something that isn't paranormal or evil related, then I think he's good to go.
yeah.
I mean, I'd be impressed and say, let's look at this deeper. Like, how did that happen?
Actually, you know, guys, that would be a new thing to do on ghost hunts. If you're using apps or spirit boxes, each person write down like 3 words each, or maybe 1 word, and put them. Yeah, 1 word, put them away, and see if it says it. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's much better than asking it to say something, because especially with apps, I don't trust them at all. I don't give a shit what permissions you give it or don't give it, and it says it won't use it. I don't trust them at all. So I have a problem when people say, "Can you say my name?" and then everyone goes around and says their name. So if the microphone is on, even though you said not to, then there's still a chance. So I'd rather write it down. Write a word down, a code word, and make it a word that just won't be. It's not something you would commonly hear in regular conversation, or especially with a ghost hunt or something like that. Write it down, real big piece of paper. Print them out. Take it with you, and just put it on the table and say, "Read this for me."
I thought it was funny. I was watching another channel. I don't know if I should name drop them here or not, but there's one of the pretend kind of channels, but they had gotten a name early in their investigation and never once brought it up. But when they went to another area of the house, they got a name come through, like, "Oh my God, that is the first time we've gotten a name through this." I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, about 45 minutes ago, the first name you got was Joe. And it was a location that had been too many times, the Monroe House. And then they're upstairs and they get another name. Oh my God. Like, when you really pay attention, they pick and choose what comes out of there, they highlight.
Right.
They literally busted themselves lying.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So I just put in the words that it said in the chat. I'm just going to keep throwing them in the chat.
Ooh.
Since you wrote the word down. It said, "I have no regrets, anomaly, and killing." Is it a winner?
No.
Damn it.
I'm just laughing, like, killing.
I thought she wrote anomaly. Dude, that would be crazy if you wrote anomaly down.
My expectations are so high that this is going to work.
Someone guessed a word, and it could be.
Who
put
guessed
it up? I don't know. Oh, it's Bear.
It's Kenny Biddle's safe word. There's a clue.
Oh, you wouldn't know that, wouldn't you?
Well, hell yeah, he handcuffed you to a pole. It's got to be a safe word involved in that experiment.
Kenny's safe word is harder.
Yeah, Kenny's safe word is harder.
Wisdom. Right there, I put it up. Wisdom gets that one.
That's not it. Nope. Nice. Oh, Wisdom. I still got to work on. He wrote a song for me too. I got to put it in my outro video, which is why I'm in work on Sunday. But I love it.
Somebody wrote down hot dog water. If this thing says hot dog water, dude, I'm gonna buy some shares in this company and see, we got a winner here.
You're like, that's pretty good.
That's the thing too. I'm open-minded. If I use some piece of equipment and I'm getting like really crazy results that I find fascinating, I'll totally change my mind. But until then, I mean, I've used a lot of these apps, and I just don't feel like there's and this spirit box now. But if it actually worked or just something cool, I'd be like, okay, that was impressive.
Yeah,
Right.
just said tears of blood, by the way. I know that's what you wrote.
Your app is very dark.
It is a little dark today.
Mm-hmm.
Shame on you. You need to go to church, app.
I said it's got to be either paranormal or just evil. Evil stuff is all that really comes out of there, and dates, and numbers.
It probably picks up what I was watching on YouTube.
It's interesting
Dark
to
stuff.
hear some of these words coming out, because now I'm curious if it does have a word bank, and what that word bank is filled with.
Oh, it does. Yeah, it has a word bank.
You know, like then it's only pulling from a fixed set of words. It only has a fixed number of choices to pick from. And
Totally.
what's the algorithm doing? Is it randomly picking out words, or is it based on anything? I mean, I would expect that it's just random.
It's supposed to be the sensor. And Spotted Ghost, the guy that makes it, I've talked to him recently. I know Joe has too. He's a really cool guy. He's actually very fucking intelligent, and you should talk to him sometime. He's really smart. But the sensors, the sensors work, they pull from different things. But I told him too. It's something personal. It's just my belief system that an app can't talk to a ghost. But in his defense, all the apps have word banks, and they all kind of work very similarly. But his does work different than the Ghost 2 per se.
No. There's one thing that it does differently, supposedly, than the others. So, yeah, that app is using every sensor that is available on the phone, including the temperature sensor, which, of course, the temperature sensor is going to fluctuate all the time.
Right.
And it's going to throw a word out there. It's using, I can't remember the name of all the damn sensors that are in our phones, but like I said, like when you move, when you walk or whatever, those sensors know, because they're tracking your movement, basically. It's going to trigger a word. Just like when I fling the phone, like the way I do that, a word comes up.
What are you flinging?
The phone. Taking my phone and just doing that really hard. I can have a word come up, like at any given time. I could be off camera, flick the phone the right way, and be like, "Oh my god, you guys come into frame! Look what I got."
Kenny, keep an eye on the chat, because I've just been throwing the words out there so that I'm not interrupting every 5 minutes, or not 5 minutes, because this thing's saying something every 30 seconds.
The Foreman Brothers have you find all the.
Yeah, they use the necrophonic one, don't they? No, they use Spirit Talker.
There's that other one, Necrometer. We use that one at Ashmore just for shits and giggles, and I was able to purposely set it off by holding the phone up to the security camera line.
And that's the one that you can actually add words to, right?
Used to.
Okay.
Unless they're using an older version.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that there was a version of that one where you could put your own words in the word bank. And if
Ghost Tube, you can too.
Oh, can you?
Yep.
And if I was going to make a app, and I would design it to where the words that were input would be higher up in the list of words that it spits out. I mean, true.
Well, man, they had a video. They went to some location that very peculiar first name. I forgot I think it was oh man, it was a weird name. Anyway, that name came from the Ghost Tube, and I went, that name was definitely not in the word bank that they put in that thing. But they acted so surprised. We can guarantee you they entered that name in manually. In my opinion.
That's for the legal department.
Yeah.
Always got to add that in.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Or allegedly.
You suck.
Yeah.
My spirits say they can't read your writing, Ken.
Oh, so that's the problem. It's just sloppy handwriting. It's not that this thing
clear. It's printed. I'm sorry, for the older generation that knows how to actually do handwriting. Cursive, yeah.
Just so my handwriting shit. I broke my hand so many times in the same spot. I'm numb right in here, so I can't write worth a shit. I can't feel like when I can only see.
I think I saw Dawson.
Yeah, Dawson's in here.
Dawson was in here.
Yep.
Somebody let him in.
Dan's banned from the Foreman Brothers. That's funny. I mean, I can't imagine that. I mean, Dan's Dan's usually
Dawson,
editing.
I can send him a link if he.
Oh fuck no! I'm just kidding.
It's too early for him. He's usually third shift.
Oh
Man,
so what else is new?
I don't know.
Oh,
How far are you on your psychic video?
I actually just got my office is in my bedroom. I call it my office. It's my fucking desk. But my plumbing, I just fixed my bathtub plumbing. The walls were taken out. They finally got done yesterday. So I'm going to be doing the rest of it tonight. So I'm working on it. I had to stall out there for a minute because of this plumbing work.
Hey, horror. I'm gonna.
I prefer to call her Miss Horror.
Speaking of horror, I'm doing a little collab with her soon. We're like a movie, horror movie thing. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I got a new toy to play with.
Oh, really?
Somebody made me a planchette, a Ouija board planchette from a scale.
Oh, I thought that was to see how many ounces of weed you're
Oh yeah,
up there. The scale.
but it's pretty cool. You keep your fingertips on it, and it's very sensitive. So if you try to push this, the pressure measurement goes way up, so you can see if anyone tries to actually push it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What's up, Dawson?
What's up, guys?
Hey,
So-
he's on the roof of his car today.
He's still living in his car though.
Yeah, it's a nice day out here.
I'm outside enjoying the weather.
Nice. It is nice out. Nice out today.
Yeah. Jeff is right, though. I usually am third shift. I did just wake up a little bit ago.
Yeah, I'll wake up and in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom and check my phone. It's like you're live. Like, Jesus Christ.
So when he gets up to the pity, that's what he thinks about you.
No, I usually sit down and have a cigarette at my desk, and YouTube is.
Oh
90%
Jesus! He
open
notices
all
you after he uses the bathroom and has a cigarette.
You're
I
making
think
it
he's got an
uncomfortable.
alarm that goes off. He's like, "Yeah, Dawson's live. What's up?"
Sit here smoking a cigarette in my underwear, watching.
After,
Dawson.
after he touches his dick, he sits down, has a cigarette, and continues to watch Dawson.
Just mouth breathing.
Yeah, I don't know what my deal is lately. I can't. I go to sleep at like 5 in the morning, and when I go live for way too long. Everybody in there is just like, okay, I got to go to bed, and I'm like, what do you mean? It's only 3 a.m.
That's how all lives go, though. You plan on going for a half hour, an hour, and then you look up and it's been 3.
Yeah.
No, you get the live stream bug. When you get it, you get it hard and long. That's what she said.
He's always got to figure out a way to get that in there.
What have you guys been chatting about?
Dawson, I am proud of Dawson for one thing that really fucking impressed me about Dawson is that he doesn't like apps. I fucking love that. So I'm team Dawson with that. I'm good horror. I'm super good.
No one's gonna tell me that they use them the right way or anything.
The only right way to use the app is not to use it.
Delete it from your phone.
No, this is so much fun.
Dawson's going to come to the debunking side. You watch.
And I have to be clear here too, since I am running this app right now. I have never used this on an investigation, so just.
But I mean, to be fair, I was somewhat just like him when I started too.
Yeah.
Well, so I used it one time to genuinely test it because I kind of told myself, I'm like, if this actually works, then I'm missing out on something really great because of and I was like, so I'll use it, and I tried it. I actually ended up deleting all that footage because it was just bullshit. And I ended up halfway through throwing it on a timer and testing every single time it came out. And at the time, it was Spirit Talker. It was on a rotating timer. So basically, there was like 20 to 30 like set times, and it would just like flip between which one it wanted to come out. But you use it long enough and you time it long enough, it was set to do that. And that's when I was like, okay, yeah. Well, also, and the responses were just ridiculous. Like every third response was a different decade, and then like every fifth response was a new name.
It does seem like when the words come out, like 2 or 3 of them will string together, like they make sense together. You know what I mean? Like this said, "Follow us left," and it's beautiful here. Like you could make a connection between those 2 phrases.
Yeah.
And then the next word is danger. You could, it's. So
And
yeah,
here,
like they'll.
That's actually good. I like your train of thought there, because you could hear those first 2 sayings, and if you're walking around, maybe you start to enter a different room, and then suddenly it says danger.
Yep.
I can totally see a group, or Dawson going, oh, like danger in this one. I'm just fucking with you.
I get what you mean completely, because, and it's when I first hopped on is when I heard you guys talking about Spirit, or one of the phone apps at least, and Josh had mentioned the words pretty much that come out are strictly for like paranormal or evil or things that in that kind of investigation. And yeah, I've never like hopped on a Spirit Talker and heard, I don't know, like telephone pole, you know.
All of those words that come out of those apps all can be connected to any place.
Mm-hmm.
Any it doesn't even have to be a haunted location. It could just be like anywhere except an airplane.
Well, it's kind of like horoscopes, right? Like you, like if you look at it as if it's like for you, it's gonna like match up. And that's like with horoscopes, if you take out like the what are those things, the astrological signs like Gemini and stuff, if you cover that up and you just read a random one, it's gonna make sense for your life,
right?
And then you show them like, hey, this says Gemini, and they're like, oh well, it doesn't actually match up because I'm an asparagus or something.
That's asparagus.
Somebody watched VeggieTales when they grew up.
That's great. Asparagus. Oh my god!
I think
That's gonna be my sign forever.
I think you mean Aquarius.
A lot, because I think, like, yeah, sure, those are like real things or whatever, but like anytime somebody talks about astrology or something, I always say asparagus because I just think it's funny, because I only know mine because, women, they'll be like, what's your sign? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I tell them my birthday and they tell me.
Yeah.
I'll just say that the huge ghost hunting, like the new, I was trying to say here, when apps become to the point where they have these cool AI programs built in, right? And they're gonna be so compelling when they go in these places. They're gonna use the location of the Sally House, and then they're gonna be so accurate and so amazing and so intelligent. It's gonna really convince people that they're talking to the spirits there. Mm-hmm. It's to the point where even when they leave the location, it might still be talking to the homes and attachment. But the new era in YouTube will start when AI gets involved more, and they're going to be really blown away. And like, hey, I know it's AI, but how would it know this? How would it know that? Because it's going to be legit, like human conversations, interactions with these AI apps that are coming out.
Well, we have to make it known if we're using AI or not.
Yeah.
If it's not known, YouTube, I believe, pulls the video. But then again, YouTube is supposed to be pulling or blocking videos when the thumbnails and shit like that and titles are clickbait as hell.
That's never gonna happen.
So I have a fun like AI experience thing. So Tyler took pictures of us at this Airbnb, and when he got home, he used AI to expand them. And the AI literally showed the Airbnb we were in, like cabinet and everything, the stuff that was in the cabinet. It was like kind of freaky, and he was like, how would it know that? And I told him like maybe that's why I'm bringing it up, because I kind of want one of you guys to know. Is it because of the like metadata when you take a picture, like it may be like your phone had already like hanged by there?
There could be that possibility where when you're taking a picture with your phone or just a camera, that it's actually seeing more than what the end result of the photo will be. That is a possibility. Or because it's using AI, now it's searching for photos of something that looks really familiar, or it knows that part of the house and it can find photos of other people who've taken pictures of that spot and like fill it in.
Yeah, it was kind of freaky though, because like it got this like specific like cabinet thing, like what are those? I guess it's just a cabinet, but it's got like the clear doors, and it had like a weird like pottery in it.
Pottery.
For those who know.
Oh yeah, and Tyler. Yeah, he just said in the chat that it knew what our tattoos were that weren't in the pictures. It was kind of weird. It was like
weird.
It was super weird, and it kind of like freaked me out a little bit about AI, because I was. My brain immediately went to, it's like the metadata from the picture, because your picture is more than just a picture. There's like a billion little things involved in it. But if it's not that, then I don't know. AI is pretty scary.
I know with like my Black Magic camera that I have, if I use a certain lens, and I always have to remember this, what I see on my viewfinder isn't always what I'm going to get in video, because it may be cropped in a little more or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that one.
Yeah, I know
that's scary.
Does it have location tracking? Does the camera have it?
If he's using his cell phone, then it does have location tracking.
So I mean, that's part of the metadata that it might default to. That it
like the Google Maps and stuff like that.
Yeah. So when you take a photo, it'll automatically GPS the coordinates, and let you know where you are.
But would it know what tattoos that they all have?
That is completely different. That's an issue.
It depends on the tattoo, though. Was it an exact replica, or is it like, I have a skull and it showed a skull tattoo?
I can't really remember. This was back in like October or something. So I don't really remember. I didn't even remember the tattoo thing. The thing that blew my mind was the specific cabinet thing. And it had like weird oddities in it.
What was he using?
What?
What software was he using for that AI?
Yeah, you'd have to ask him. I don't. He
Photoshop. Well, the beta, anyways, does a decent job with AI. It's kind of scary. The one big downfall about AI, though, for some reason, like when it generates pictures, is that it can't spell worth a fuck.
What he said.
It said Kenneth twice tonight, just so everybody knows.
You know what's at the Bel Air house? Oh, sorry. Is it really loud for you guys? My bad. There's like
not really.
It's not horrible, no.
Okay.
Your voice.
Yeah, at the Bel Air house, I wanted to like burst out Kenneth, and I looked at Kenny. I was like, "Is your real name Kenneth?" The first.
What the hell was that?
Get him, dog.
Chase him down. Could be a drive-by duck.
It was a motorcycle. Yeah, it just got really busy all of a sudden as soon as I wanted to hop on the live.
It's everybody's AI telling them to go drive by your house.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like the idea that we live in a simulation. I kind of like that little.
Oh my goodness.
That's, I always say when I'm talking about that the simulation needs to catch up, so it adds fog so that we can't see much ahead of us. It's kind of like a render distance. That's like my joke about it.
Ear. Oh, Archibald. What the hell does that mean? I'll be right back.
I was gotta go look it up. Oh man. Any questions from the chat? Oh, anybody got a question for Dawson?
There's a cop flying by, so if you guys hear that,
Is that why you ducked down?
pretty much.
He's like, no, not me.
I
No.
have a question for you. Is there anything that you actually do agree on that you may not necessarily have the exact scientific evidence you want involving the paranormal?
Agree on. Agree. Like experiences, or can you elaborate?
I guess it's kind of a wide question.
It is a very wide blanket that you threw that out.
I was just because usually, like, if somebody brings something up, you do have some sort of kick. So I was just curious if there was anything that you don't necessarily have scientific evidence for that you do agree on that, like, paranormal investigators do. Like methodology or something like that. I mean, I like music. That's difficult to answer. I mean, it really is difficult. I'd have to go through specific things. I mean, there's a lot of methodology that's being used that is inadequate for what it's being presented as, which means, like, basically a lot of groups think they're doing scientific investigations and they're not. And that's usually why I come up with, like, some kind of explanation. Like, no, that you really need to do this. You need to have controls on your experiments. You need to understand what your devices are doing. So I think, if anything, like, I agree with some of the comments about we need to do better. We need to have more critical thinking. We need to have more skepticism in this. We need people to educate themselves better. Like, I think that might be common ground that we can work from. But when it comes to some of the methods that are out there, like, just for example, that horrendous, awful Estes method thing that you made me do, Dawson, that I will never, ever forgive you for. It wasn't my idea.
It was actually my idea.
I don't care. I'm blaming Dawson.
I will say, whenever they brought up, we're going to make Kenny do the Estes method, I did not have any disagreement with that.
You are right there.
I wanted to see it just as bad.
And really, it wasn't trying to change Kenny's mind. That's not the goal. It was, here, do this. Yeah, it sucks, but you'll have a better understanding of how ridiculous it is, and nobody can say you've never done it, you don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, it was the only difference, because I have done it before. I did it way back. I wrote an article about it when I saw it on I forget the name of the series. It was like a Netflix or Amazon Prime series that showcased it. But the whole show was ridiculous anyway, and there were a lot of problems with it. But why are you showing us your cock?
He's got two.
You got two? That's a medical problem.
Yeah.
So I did try it and I tried it the same way they did on the episode. Oh, Hellier, that series. So I did it the exact same way they did it, and the problem was I could hear everything. Like, I could hear my wife talking because she was next to me and she was asking questions just in a normal tone, and I could hear her. So I was like, all right, well, the guy that did it on the show, he had this, like, full beard, so there was no way he had, like, a complete seal, and you couldn't hear anything coming from the headphones. So if I did the same thing, would I hear it? And yeah, I could hear her questions. So that was my main problem with it. And the difference here was that Dawson turned it all the way up, that even if I was deaf as shit, I could still probably hear something. I mean, it was so loud.
I screamed right next to you, like, Kenny, can you hear me? Like, 6 inches from your face. And you didn't hear shit.
I even said out loud, I called you a couple of names just to be funny.
Yeah, I saw the video, Dick.
Yeah.
But it was so loud, though, and that also had a problem. I had a problem with that because it was too loud. Like I couldn't focus on anything because it was just too loud, and I was like, "Oh, this kind of is painful."
Another trick that they like to do when they do the Estes method is the earbuds. Right, you can't see the earbuds when you have your headphones on, so they could be on a phone call. We wouldn't know it, and they could be in somewhere completely different, and they could ask these questions, and it looks like, they can't hear because they're on the other side of this place, but they can because they have the earbuds in and they know what's being asked.
Right.
Yeah, well, something that I've seen, I don't know if has done it, but but I got when people put their hands on the thing that they're possibly lifting it to hear it. Maybe some people are doing that, but typically when I do that, it's to basically suction cup it to my ear so that I do not hear anything. But I can understand that it's a trust thing, because they could easily just be slightly lifting it so they could hear.
Right.
And I mean, anything else, long hair, a beard, a full beard, you're not going to get that seal. You're going to have a gap, and depending on how loud everything is or the volume of it, you should be able to hear everything outside.
I don't think you can see the wires, but I have earbuds in and I have these on. You can't.
Okay.
I can't see them, but you're about this big.
Yeah, Major. I'm trying to keep up with the comments.
I'm a grower, not a shower, guys.
Well, you also got to remember, AirPods and stuff. They make small ones and that could easily go in your ear, and then you throw on over the ear headphones.
Right.
It's possible that somebody could do that for sure, and you'd never know it.
Or, I mean, when it comes, I think this is a good conversation because it shows that we're taking into account everything besides someone being completely honest. Because let's face it, not all of these channels and or TV shows are honest. And not only could they hide earbuds underneath the headphones, but the headphones might not even be plugged in. If they just have regular headphones on that are not noise canceling or noise reduction or anything like that, there's regular headphones. And I could put headphones on. I could take a set of headphones and tell you, hey, these are noise canceling. I can't hear anything with them. And I'll put them on. And all you have to go on is my word. Just me telling you. And that's the easy part of editing. Because now all you have is what I said, and for the most part, the audience, which is usually young and impressionable audience, they just accept it at face value. They won't ask questions. They won't want to know. I want to know what brand headphones are being used. I want to know how they're plugged in. I want to know what radio you're using and all this stuff. So, it's good that there's an acknowledgement that, there could be fakery going on.
Yeah.
That's why you're, when you're doing this, your integrity is so freaking important, and it has to be, completely guarded, because once you get caught cheating once, I feel that you're done for forever. Because if you've done it once, then, if you're in that being said, though, being wrong is different than cheating. If you just do something wrong, that's not the same as cheating.
And maybe these bigger channels could have captured something really cool, but because of the bullshit that they pull,
exactly,
we don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, we just talked about that the other day, Joe, where one of these fake channels come out and be like, hey, I know that
Hey, Faith.
faked before, but we just caught like an apparition on camera. Here it is. It's like the best thing ever. And nobody would, well, I'm sure some people would believe him, the same people that believe him now, but they, like anybody like us would be like, yeah, bullshit.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
the unfortunate part. Good, Josh. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was trying to think of the word, but it's almost like cry wolf, but not
Yeah.
exactly.
No, let me just say something real quick. So yeah, I've seen a couple people in the chats think, like, if anybody has questions, go ahead and ask them. We're absolutely here to answer.
I think someone did ask. There's a couple questions. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. I was waiting on Major to. She had asked a question, but I missed it.
Oh, my wife's here. I got to behave now. We're just sitting here holding a church service. Don't worry, it's all good.
I did watch your video, Jeff. Well, I commented on it. There were things that were said by the guy that I didn't hear. I didn't watch the whole, like, his all the way through.
Yeah.
And now I wish I had.
Yep. Yeah, it was cringe for sure. And it wasn't even about me, and it bothered me. You know what I mean? So, like I said earlier, before you jumped on, I can't stand it when these people that are so bad at what they do lecture all of us like they're, paranormal instructors and real scientists and things like that. So, Jeff, are you going to any more with Mountain and your kids?
Do any more? Oh yeah, are you going to do any more?
Oh yeah, Mountain will be brought out again sometime.
Dude,
I think someone commented saying that you need to make mountain t-shirts.
Yeah, we're gonna look into making some t-shirts. I never thought we'd be in a position to be making any kind of t-shirts, but several people have asked. So
that music video, man, I've watched like 5 times already.
Well, I asked Wisdom just for help on how to make a song, because I had no idea how that AI music worked, and he must have stayed up all night, because I woke up in the morning and to an email with that song in it. And I'm like, that is freaking perfect. I couldn't have done it any better myself, and it would have taken me hours and hours to try. So we just went with that. That was cool.
Yes. Cool. So good, Wisdom. Good job.
Oh, there's Major's question.
Major, yeah, no, I have not heard of people. Nothing at all, and I do not expect to.
I'm shocked.
To be honest, I mean, it's for those that don't know. I made an offer that if Cody and Satori would go out to LA, to our West Coast branch of CFI. So the company I work for is Center for Inquiry. We have a $500,000 paranormal challenge for anyone that can display under scientifically tested conditions some kind of paranormal power or superpower, and you can pass the preliminary test and the main test, then you literally get a check for $500,000. So they work with you. You fill out the application. They work with you to make sure the test protocols are not only fair to everyone, but are scientifically sound, so that there's no cheating. And then you come take the test. So if they want to do that, as long as they fly out, they go to take the test, and they pass the preliminary test, I will reimburse them travel expenses. So I think that's more than fair. It gives them a free trip to LA, and I mean, if they can really do what they claim to do, let's have a scientific test, not your fucking friend.
So yours doesn't involve a barn attic?
No.
Oh, that surprises
No
me.
barn attic. No.
What about?
I'm shocked by that.
What about bad camera angles?
Yeah.
Was that included?
No. We do things much better. Much better. Multiple camera angles from all around. We'd probably go a little bit further. I mean, I'm not the one that designed the test, and I want to make that clear to everyone. Like, I would not be involved with designing the test, because I'm already involved with the little bit of drama that surrounds that. I've already made my point clear, or made my stance clear, that I think it's faking. I think it's complete hoax. And I have my ideas on how. So I don't want to be involved with the testing, because I don't want anyone to bring up that it might be biased. So that would be a completely separate team doing that, setting up the protocols for that. but I'm pretty sure. I mean, we would have something. We would have some kind of electrode pads, the probes on your on his ankle, at least on his ankle, and his toes, and microphones and everything, just to see what's going on, because they would cover their ass.
Tried it and like passed a test to get to the next stage, or no?
Say that again.
So like clearly nobody's ever actually won the prize, but has anybody ever like passed the first test to like go further?
No. So everyone that has applied, and you can actually go on to cfiig.org. You can go onto the website and see the stats, like how many people applied, how many people did. You can see all of that information. It's very transparent. But people fill out the application, and there is a back and forth process where the staff go back and forth with the applicant to work out the protocols, like what's going to be tested, how it's going to be tested, what is considered cheating, what is considered this, what they cannot do, and then what is a pass or fail, and then how many times they have to do it. Like if they say they can do something multiple times, then we usually give them like, you do it 10 times, and we'll see how many times out of that 10 that you get right. But everyone that has showed up for the initial test has failed. And keep in mind, the applicant agreed to all the test protocols. So they fail the test that they helped design. And I mean, it's been clear. It's very obvious. It's always recorded. They take video the entire time. Most times they have to order a machine. Like I know they had one lady said that she could diagnose, she could see people's kidneys and tell when they were missing one. So they actually rented an ultrasound machine in order to actually get participants and then check them to make sure that they had a kidney or didn't have a kidney or which one was missing. And I mean, even that person failed. So it's a very thorough test. And I mean, I would stand behind it. If Cody and Satori would say, okay, if they agreed to the test, I'd stand by it. I'd fly out on my own dime just to watch.
Oh, I would love to see that.
But I would observe. I would be out there because that would just be fun.
Let me ask you this then. Would this test, would they have the option of doing this anonymously? Like saying that we're willing to do this test, but you cannot tell anybody that we did the test or the results?
No.
Okay.
Because people need to know.
Yeah.
If you're going to throw yourself out there like that, it needs to be.
Yep.
Everyone needs to know.
Record it. Again, there's pictures taken. You fill out the application, and you basically sign a waiver saying, "Yeah, I'm going to do this." Okay. And they do post reports of their tests, so you can actually go and read read about all the tests they've done already. I mean, they might not give your full name if you want a little bit of privacy, but again, you're coming out saying, "I'm going to do this," and we're putting $500,000 on the line.
Yep.
So you're not hiding.
Yep.
You're going to be out there. Plus, you're going to be rich. I mean, $500,000. That's a lot of money.
Heck yeah.
And I always add on, if you don't want to do it for the money, that's cool. I can offer a lot of charities that you can donate that money to. There's a lot of cancer research out there that really needs as much funding as possible, and I'm all for that. So, I mean, I'll give you a list of names of organizations that will take that money.
Yep.
And you'll be, not only will you prove to the world that you can do something that's literally paradigm shifting, but you'll be helping cure cancer or advance the treatment for cancer.
And that's why it's such a big deal with those two, is they are making a claim that would absolutely, if what they're doing is real, prove that you can communicate with the afterlife. Like if their claim is true, that is the biggest proof out there.
What really annoyed me the most, I mean, it's one thing to make claims and get out there and try to promote themselves as this. And I know they did it. They did not expect it to get as big as it did. Nowhere near, but when they start adding shit, like total bullshit, with what is that Project Fear interview where they start trying to say, I don't think the world's ready for this and what's going to happen. Like, no. The future of this planet does not rest on your fucking feet.
Right.
It doesn't. All right. So get over yourself. That's just fucking ego right there. And it just now I'm getting pissed off. I can't stand it. Like, don't put yourself on that high pedestal when you can't fucking prove it.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's all like basically, there you go, he's playing with his
got
cock.
His hand on his cock now.
Showing off his freaking peckers over there.
I like the black one.
When you look at like the whole UFO thing and the disclosure and people going to Congress, blah blah blah, that didn't change a fucking thing.
No.
Like, everybody's like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Either they still believe, they don't believe, maybe they made people start to believe it more or whatever, but it didn't change the world.
Right. And I mean, people that already believe in an afterlife, that's not going to change. Right. Because for the most part, they already have, they're convinced. They don't need to be convinced. That's it. And I think for the rest of us that aren't convinced that this is real, or that at least they are real, and you're making these claims and you're out there saying that you're helping people, bullshit, then you do have to put up or shut up. There's none of this, I don't feel the need to prove it. Then shut the fuck up. Like, seriously, don't make these claims. Don't go out there and don't do TV shows and YouTube channels and all these things where you're claiming that you can do it and then say, well, no, I'm not going to prove it. I'm just going to say it because I want everyone to book us for our traveling museum, and so we can be special guests and get free hotel rooms and shit like that.
But it's almost like sometimes too, people like they know that the audience that believes them is going to well outweigh the ones that don't. So they don't care about the ones that don't believe it or have questions. Right. Like we know it's going to happen, but the believers are far more numerous than the non-believers in what we do. So, I don't know. I think sometimes that's weighed.
Guys, I got sorry. I got to jump off here. So, but, huh?
Bitch. Slacker.
Sorry. We're in the process of bombing the house for fleas. And now we're moving into stage 2, so it's getting real fun.
That sounds serious. You better run.
Before you go, Crow, I got something to show you. I'll be right back.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm scared.
Real quick, I was going to say that you have a super chat, so you might want to.
We don't know who it goes to.
Yeah, since we're doing the simultaneous stream here, so we don't know who that goes to. It really doesn't matter. We appreciate everybody that supports anyone in the community.
Anita.
So thank you.
Someone asked, has anyone ever come close to proving the paranormal? And I don't think it's a close. It's either they did or they didn't. So
right.
I don't think there's really an in-between
evidence.
I mean, a lot of people would say that they've had like personal experiences, which I feel like I have, but
I
feel like that's the closest somebody can come.
Oh shit!
You don't have any lights
on my tripod.
Pick that up just for you.
Thank you, Mike O. Thanks, Mike O, for the $4.99. I appreciate it.
There's people who want to so badly communicate with their loved ones who have passed away, and I'm like, the best way to do it, and it's free, is whatever you're doing, just say out loud, "Hey, I miss you," or think about it. Think in your head.
That's one thing about want to. I'd like to believe that not everybody is a ghost. I like to believe that they're where they actually belong and they're not here. For my family members.
In
kind of like looking over you kind of thing.
Like they're in heaven.
Yeah.
They're not here.
I don't personally believe like heaven and stuff, but they did. So I hope that they are where they believe and not here. That's like it's a weird thing with me. I don't know. I'd rather them not be a ghost.
You are weird.
It would suck. I mean, if it was truly the case, that would suck. Could you imagine being stuck inside of a fucked up building that's all run
prison or some
down
shit.
and just shitty? That would suck.
Yeah. And what happens when it if it eventually gets demolished?
Right.
And now
Then
you're stuck on the
Then you're
second
homeless.
floor.
You're a homeless ghost.
Right.
Well, I think that it probably looks the same to them as when they were alive.
I mean, there's no way to prove it. There's no way to prove it.
Just an opinion, an idea. I'm not saying I can prove it.
I know.
It's just I think that, and I've gotten interesting things before where it seems like that's the case, where it is like how it was for them, because one of the biggest things for like a lot of these places, like, oh, when I started doing renovations, that's when it started happening, and that interests me a little because think you have a door here, but you change it so that there isn't a door there, but they still go through that door that doesn't exist anymore. Does that make sense?
It's a residual. It has that, we would call that a residual. It has nothing. It's just something is triggering that residual thing. That's the idea, anyways, and it's going through a door that once was there. You can't interact with it or anything.
Yep.
I think that it is. It looks how it did.
Thanks,
Keza. Yeah, thank you, Keza.
Whoever. I had a weird thing, like a weird thing that came to mind with it coming to like residual. So I was eating something and I almost choked on it. And I ended up getting it up. But I was thinking like,
it keeps getting worse.
Whatever you were
yeah. I was thinking like, what if I actually choked on it and died? But like the spirit of me is here now. That would be like a residual haunting, like somebody getting in a car crash. They actually died in the car crash, but they think that they're still alive. That would go with like the residual.
Sometimes I tell myself that, like, what if, like, I don't know. I do like, I don't know. I think sometimes like, what if I am dead and this is all like heaven or hell or whatever it is.
It's not saying heaven, I'll tell you that.
It's definitely not heaven.
Well, a residual has no idea what's like.
Yeah, they don't know that you're there.
Yeah,
it won't interact.
Yeah, that's the idea.
I've always thought that the movie The Others was interesting as a theory as to what's going on, that we're the actual ghosts, and that was a really cool movie.
Well, if I'm a ghost, I think I'm probably doing a really bad job. If I'm a ghost right now, I want to know, because I want to fuck with people.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's real living people out here.
Yeah, Macy, with both of us streaming, we can read all your guys' chats, but with both of us streaming, only you guys can see what your side is seeing.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
We'll just have to do it next time where, we just do it on one channel. And
we wanted to get with all the viewers that we was talking to yesterday.
Yep. So, Kenny, go ahead and tell us what you wrote down, because this thing has been going off for the whole time, and I haven't written down the words. And I'll just look at the list. Bullshit. No, it did not say bullshit. Watch it. Okay, so if it says it now.
If it says it now, then you know that it's listening to you.
Yeah. Then we've got to worry about the man.
I don't think I've ever heard that word come out of that, though.
I haven't heard swear words out of this one. It's Spirit Talker, if that's what you asked.
Has anybody ever gotten a cuss word out of one of those apps?
I don't think they're in there.
I haven't.
Because I think if they put it in there, then they'd have to have a thing where it's 13 and up or something.
Yeah. Because we should all let our little kids run around and try and talk to the dead. It's always a good idea.
The Ouija board was invented before.
Yeah.
Yeah, wisdom was closed.
Kenny, where'd you get that planchette with the scale?
A friend of mine made it. He's an actual scientist. And
Would he make
one
to sell?
I know he did it. He had them available for a while.
Okay.
Where is it? Because he has an advertisement. He had a commercial for it, like an online commercial.
Oh.
But he was selling them for $40. Like, that's the printout that he had for me. And
that's really cool.
Everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Dana.
Really, really cool. I mean, I'll send him a message because I don't think he got the traction. This was years ago that he first made them. And
I've never heard of it before, but yeah, maybe
he's
getting
the
the word up.
That made this for me. So this is a dowsing rod rig, and these are handles that come with them. They're locked into an acrylic blocks. You got a bubble level. I don't know if you can see that. There's a bubble level down there, so I can tell when it's rotating. I have it on a stand, but basically now I can hold these dowsing rods and I can't manipulate them independently. And he just sent me this set. I have another set that I've been using for about, I don't know, oh my God, over a decade. And everyone that's tried it, professional dowsers and everything, everyone that's tried it, the rods don't move.
Well, the whole point of dowsing rods is to find water. Like, it'll point towards water.
So that's not correct. Originally, they were used to find different kind of metals and ores. So when you look back, usually you see an etching. You see like a sketching that has a guy with like Victorian style clothing on, and he's holding a branch, a forked twig. And that's usually used to say this is the first known etching or mention of dowsing in any kind of text. And the text that it's from is from it's going back, I think 1500s, where it was written about. And it was written about because they were mining. They were mining for different ores. And some of the miners were using this forked twig in order to locate different ores, iron and gold, stuff like that. But the person that wrote the text followed up with the description by saying all of these clues were available on the land. If you knew the land and knew how to read the land, you knew where to mine for different ores. And then the forked twig eventually became 2 rods. I don't know when that happened. I haven't looked into that, but I don't know when that happened. But then it started going for water. So now you have different ores, different for bodies of water, for underground streams. Then you had it for
the minerals in the water, which the copper, like, basically, I guess you could say, attracts and will like point in that direction.
So then my question is, like, what's the attraction?
Or I guess the minerals. I've never used them because when I first looked them up, that's what it was saying, was that whatever the copper does, it'll point towards water. So I'm like, I'm not going to use these.
So there's issues with that. I mean, because, well, one, copper is not magnetic. So you're not going to have any kind of magnetic pull, and there has to be some other force that acts on them. And usually it's because in the beginning they were using this forked twig. So you had a twig, this branch that looked like a Y, basically. Yeah. And they would hold the branch like this. They wouldn't hold it like this. They would hold it specifically like this. And as you're walking, just basic fatigue, you would start to point down. And when that was being used to find water, I mean, yeah, they found water, but pretty much anywhere you dig, you're going to find water, especially when there's lush green vegetation. You're going to find the water table underneath, and it just depends on how far you dig. So there's a lot of problems with that, and the whole attraction thing. And I'm not getting on you. You should know this. I'm not getting on you, but shut the fuck up, Dawson. I got to be careful. There's actually people.
Hi, people.
But yeah, there's some kind of special force, and this falls under the idea of special pleading, and it's an issue. It's an issue because nobody can explain what this is supposed to be doing. I know what it's doing. I mean, when I see people use the rods, every single time I see their arms or their hands moving. I see their twists and dip in this. One of the things that besides using this testing rig, which is phenomenal, I always ask them to perform for me, like do a demonstration, so I can have a video camera or my phone set up level with their arm. So when they're like this, I set up a camera that's level with their arm, and I record it. And when we play it back, when you double the speed of playback, you can see this the entire time. It makes it really obvious.
Kenny, are you near water?
I'm always near water.
Sometimes I'd like to see if you, next time you're out and about, if you will bring that little rig like near a stream and have it facing the other way and see if they'll turn towards the water.
I've actually seen water companies out on the side of the road using them.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sadly, I've seen that too. I will send you. Oh fuck.
Oh shit.
Shut up, Seg. I will send you a video I did, and I think it was for TikTok, because I did a TikTok video about these rods, about this rig, and I had so many comments saying that they're real. All you got to do is just walk over a body of water. So I literally went to the beach and I walked out onto a pipe over the Atlantic Ocean, and nothing happened. Like there's no movement whatsoever. It doesn't work unless you manipulate it. That's what it comes down to.
So,
but I'm happy to do it for you. I'm happy to
early 90s or 80s or something like that. There was that experiment where they had these big ass buckets of water, and there's just there was water in them and there was sand in them. Like, so you had one with a bunch of them with water, a bunch with sand, and they wanted people to use their dowsing rods or whatever the hell it was to find the water. Every single one of them failed. But then the argument is, well, there weren't any of those minerals in the water. That was the argument.
I thought it was. It won't like just go to like a bottle of like distilled water. That's what I thought, that it was like it's the minerals in the water from like a stream or a creek. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, it just won't go to anything unless you point it towards it. And I get what you're saying. Like, I understand, like, because there's various stories, but understand that when you go through history and you look at all the testing done, that version changes. The explanation changes. The excuses come in, and why it works changes depending on the test. James Randi famously did a test over in I think he did it in Australia, where he had like 10 of the top dowsers in the country, like the top ones that advertise their number one or the best. He had to come out and he did a prize money for $30,000, and they buried pipes, water pipes, in a field, and then had water flowing, just regular water, not distilled, nothing treated, nothing like that, just running water through the pipes, and the dowsers just had to tell them what pipe it was going through. That's it. And every one of them failed, and these were the top people. So I mean, test after test, like test that I think Joe mentioned. There was the test with Randy did the test, Richard Dawkins did a test, like back probably in the 80s or 90s. And then we've done tests. I've done tests. Everyone has failed. The only time they pass, the only time it looks good, is when there are no controls over that testing, when they're allowed to do whatever they want. And that's the only point that I'm going to
Thanks,
make.
Dana.
Yeah, throw Dana's chat up there with the super chat. I think that's what they're called, right?
Yep.
Super sticker, super chat. Who knows? Thank you, Dana. Thank you so much. Oh, she's got the hot dog.
Dawn was interested in rods. She got rods. And I'm like, hey, look, explain. I'm going to let her use it anyways, right? I'm not going to stop people from using things on investigations that they want to use. It's, let them and hopefully learn from. They will learn from that experience. Dawn hasn't messed with them since. I think she used them once, and that was it.
Well, I'm the type too that like I have to try something. You know what I mean? It's like you can tell me your thoughts and your theories and whatever, but I want to try it for myself.
We heard that about you.
Yeah, I'll try anything once.
I'm gonna jump off here, guys. It was fun.
You're gonna leave me with these guys?
Yeah, you fucking deserve it. Or actually, I'm punishing them. Shit.
Oh shit.
So, all right, guys.
Thank you, Rose. Fun. Thank you.
Awesome conversations.
Rose.
See you, Joe.
See you, Joe.
Take it easy,
bitch.
That wasn't very nice. Was that your spirit talker talking?
Oh man,
Jesus. Oh. Anybody else have any questions? Go ahead and throw them in the chat. We're open for questions. This is cool. I think this isn't the first live I've been on with Kenny, but it's always cool having you in here. I mean, you definitely rain on everybody's parade and take all the fun out of everything, but it's a very good educational source.
I mean, I just
you make too much goddamn sense, and that's what's freaking annoying.
I like to make sure I understand things. Yeah. So when a question comes up and I don't know it, I become obsessed and I want to learn all about it, and I want to make sure it's good information.
You go back to a lot of like when people argue politics and all that other stuff, there's a lot of premises that are wrong, and you go to the premise and prove the premise, and a lot of things you go to the very, very beginning of the argument, and it's like, shit, that gets overlooked so much. Like,
right?
Why does EMF equal ghost in the paranormal community?
Yeah, I mean,
I've never found a scientific proof of that at all.
Where did that come from? You know, like the closest I can come to is Ghostbusters. In 1984, that's when it started being used, and I can't find. I mean, all the books that you see behind me. I mean, one of these shelves. Yeah, those shelves, that shelf right there, the one above it, and then the one above it. That's all ghost story books, how to ghost hunt, how to all this, like all these, how to be a ghost hunter, how to be a paranormal investigator. I buy them all. I read them all.
Yeah.
Anything pre-1985, nothing mentions EMF meters.
Mm-hmm. When did meters become a thing?
So, I mean,
like in general, like when were EMF meters like available to the public like pretty cheaply?
So the first handheld one that I could find that was available to the consumer was in the 80s. And I only found a picture of it. I could not find an actual example of it. It's just a small photo of it.
So or could it also be looked at as like kind of a coincidence? It was easily available at the time of Ghostbusters, and that the time frame just adds up.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're on the right track there. It was people saw it on Ghostbusters. They went to the theater, they saw the movie, they saw the PKE meter, and they liked it.
Mm-hmm.
They thought it was really cool, and that concept transferred over to, hey, what can we use that can read quote unquote energy in the air? What can we use? And people started looking around, and I don't know if it was electricians that came up with it or somebody just had an idea like, let me take this meter out and see what it reads, and didn't understand how to use it. But then it became tribal knowledge. People started using it. Like the earliest one that I have is the Dr. Gaull's EMF meter. That was the first one that I had. What'd you say? Oh.
No, I was just saying thanks.
Somebody use them to test electrical wire. It applies to electrical code and functionality. Yeah. So that was the first one that I got, and that was That was 1987. 1997. That's when I got mine. And I got it because ghost hunters were already using it and telling me, you have to use this one. And literally, like, do I have one? Hold on a second.
That does make sense, though, that, you know, EMF came from the Ghostbusters. And I think, too, that, like, didn't the Ouija board kind of take a turn in people's thoughts about it after the Exorcist movie?
Oh, yeah.
I think I've heard that theory, too. That
Well, the spirit board's been a thing for like 150 years now, hasn't it?
But it never got a bad rap until the Exorcist.
Really?
Yeah.
No, we don't.
When
Sorry.
the movie, what is it? Is it literally just called The Witch Board or whatever? The movie about the Ouija board, the old one?
Oh, I don't know.
Because my mom showed me that movie when I was a kid, and she was like, "This is like."
When were you born?
What?
When were you born?
Youngin?
When? I'm sorry.
Thank you, Julie.
I was born in '99, but it was like a really, I guess for me, really old movie would be like 70s or 80s. But
Witch Board came out in 1980.
it was an old movie, and I think it was just called Witch Board,
That
and
came out in 1986.
it was 86.
It's ancient.
But that was she made, like, because we had one and she didn't like it because of that movie and all this and that, and she's never really been like a huge like ghost person, like she believes or whatever, but whenever like we'd play with it and mess with it and everything, she made us watch that movie about it, and she was like, well, you know, the real ones are made out of wood and this and that because of that movie.
So, yeah, I mean, Jeff, you're right. The Exorcist was the launching pad, which came out in 73.
Yeah.
And that had less than a minute of screen time.
Yep.
But it was blamed for the entire cause of the demonic possession in the movie.
Yep.
And that's when it got the bad rap. Before that, when you go into the early 1900s, you can see advertisements in various magazines. I have a photo out here out in the display case. I have one that's it's an old TV tray. It's an old style TV tray that has a Ouija board on it. And I have a photo of kids, 2 little girls that got it for Christmas. It's not a sketch. It's not a painting. It's a photograph of these 2 little girls playing with it, because it was a game. It was just a game. It had nothing to do with contacting the dead. And it really wasn't until that movie came out where the public
Perception.
perception of it changed, and then you got the church that jumped on it.
Sorry, I was just curious. Like, the game was always to talk to the dead, though, for the Ouija board. I mean, what else would it be used for?
It was called nervous energy. So when you go to the original patent for it, I mean, that's how it was explained, that it was nervous energy. And that is explained as 2 people that are kind of nervous about being together, because it was originally marketed towards couples, young couples, because when these came out and they were really beginning to be marketed, it was more like you could not, this is going to sound weird, but a boy and a girl could not sit and touch knees together. Like that was not allowed. You barely could hold hands unless you were serious. So when these started coming out, it was more that you could sit, and there's actually a cover of a magazine that shows a boy and a girl sitting in a chair, touching knees together with the board on your lap, because that's how you're supposed to be playing it. And the nervous energy was just being together and asking questions to see what your future was. But it was internal. It was stuff that you already knew or were already thinking about. The original descriptions never had anything to do with ghosts or the deceased. Again, that came later after the Exorcist movie. That's when everything changed. That's when people started, especially the church. The Catholic Church just had a ball with that, and put demons into it and demonic possession and the devil and all this, and just changed the entire narrative.
So you're saying in the spiritualist movement, way back in what was that, like right around the turn of the century, that they never used Ouija boards to say that they could talk to ghosts?
They might have, but that wasn't the way they were doing it. Spiritualists used mediumship.
Well, yeah, they used that, and then like all those, like, what are those things called? Like the pieces of chalk and like the
slate writing.
Yeah, they did like all sorts of stuff, but they never used Ouija boards back then?
Not that I know of. I mean, they might have, because there's a lot. You have to understand that it's a progression. So like you had spiritualists that would do these mediums would do these seances, spiritual circles, where they would talk to the dead. And most of the time the conduit was the medium herself, because most of the time it was a female doing it. And that, after that, people started having to one-up each other, because you had news reporters sneaking in and taking pictures during some of these seances when they were more elaborate, when you had like phantom arms and hands appearing over the table. You had newspaper reporters coming in and snapping pictures and finding out that it was fake. So you had slate writing, which is a well-known magic trick. You had a piece of chalk between two slate boards and messages would appear. You had scrying. You had, well, not scrying as in like crystal ball scrying, but you had automatic writing, which eventually led into a planchette that had a pencil attached to it that would spell out messages. And then that went into the idea of homemade Ouija boards, where people would just write down on like a piece of paper or parchment or something like that. And it was more nervous energy happening again. The Ouija board itself, that was trying to take these ideas, these homegrown ideas, and then put it into a manufacturing process. And then again, the original patent, and I'll try and find it because I know I do have it, and I'll send it to you so you can read the description, because it's fascinating. It's fascinating. There's no mention of ghost or spirit communication at all in it. It's just all like you being nervous about being with other people. And it's actually cute. It's really cute.
Aw, it's sweet, not demonic.
It's very sweet. Yeah,
So
there's a lot to that. Let's see. There it is. Saturday Evening Post. This is a man and a woman. I'm going to share this if you don't mind sharing the screen. Somebody. Let me see.
That's you, Josh. I don't know how to do that.
So there you go. That was a famous cover of them playing with the Ouija board. And that is from 1920. And it didn't have any kind of bad vibes. Let me see if I can blow it up for you. There you go. Get out of there. But yeah, that's May 1st, 1920. It was on a cover of a magazine, a very popular magazine, mind you.
Yeah.
And this is a Norman Rockwell painting.
Yep.
So, I mean, famous painter, famous guy. This was not something that was evil. It was not something that was looked down upon. It was part of everyday gaming. That's what they did. It was one of the games in somebody's closet. So
I thought there was people that had Ouija boards in like the late 1800s, though.
So I have to look and see when FUD actually put it out, because I do have advertisements from that.
I just want to make it clear too, like I don't believe in Ouija boards and all that, but because we're talking, I'm more interested in the history now, because I thought that there was Ouija boards from like the 1800s, and I don't know.
I always thought there was too, but Kenny's probably going to tell me I'm an idiot.
I have to look.
I'm just
I
kidding.
mean, I'm not. I didn't brush up on this, but there are older ones. But then when they started becoming marketed, let me see, Ouija board, earliest Ouija board advertisements. Because I had a whole like display at one time that had magazine advertisements for this.
Oh, they sold them in like kids' toy stores and stuff too.
They do.
Ones that glow in the dark, and you said they
I have
still
that
do.
one.
Yeah, I mean, you can still. I mean, you could go to Amazon right now and get one from a toy company. What is it? Parker Brothers.
It's either that or Hasbro. I forget which one.
Yeah,
I know Spencer's carries them.
You can go to Walmart, I think, and get one.
Spencer's carries a lot of shit. It would not surprise me if they sold Ouija boards.
Yeah.
Be like
I'm gonna share this again.
those stores.
I had a guy make this one.
Somebody said in the comments it was 1886 in Maryland and named 1890.
So there's an advertisement, and this is from 1891.
Okay.
The Ouija
Come
is
before
without a doubt the most interesting, remarkable, and mysterious production of the 19th century. Its operations are always interesting and frequently invaluable, answering, as it does, questionable questions concerning the past, present, and future with, God damn, I can't read this shit. With marvelous accuracy. It furnishes never-failing amusement and recreation for all classes, while for the scientific and thoughtful, its mysterious movements invite the most careful research and investigation, apparently forming the link which unites the known with the unknown, the material with the immaterial. It forces upon us the conviction that a great truth was contained in the statement of the Danish prince, there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than that. So yeah, I mean, it's still saying it's mysterious, and that was the marketing tactic that it had, but it doesn't mention ghosts, doesn't mention talking to spirits.
So the nervous board or whatever it was called came after.
Nervous energy. No, so it wasn't called a nervous board. The description for it contained the term nervous energy. So now I gotta look that up. I gotta see if I have that.
Well, yeah, it's just, yeah, I mean, I just, yeah, it was just whenever you said 1920, I was just like, oh, I thought a Ouija board was around before that.
Yeah, it was around before that. But the idea that it was evil and that it was actually talking to spirits, that was a more modern concept.
There was a question from Carl, Josh, about before apps came out, has anyone ever claimed to get ghost voices on their phone? And I don't exactly know when it was, but Dawn, Joe's fiance, she has EVPs that she caught that is just her phone on the voice record app. I don't know if that was before apps became a thing for like ghosts and all that, but she has caught stuff on just her phone, so I think people have claimed that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people use them just as a voice recorder, you know, like they would a DR60 or whatever. And it's probably actually way better to use a phone to record than obviously the DR60.
Well, with phones, they have a lot of like EQ and everything built into the microphone, which I think would make it probably not good as like, for instance, like whatever voice recorders Joe has like these crazy ones that are like bigger than a phone.
Yeah.
So I feel, or at least an iPhone, I feel like I've thought about using it before, but I just think that an iPhone would block, because it blocks out like everything except
it's got compression and noise reduction and stuff like that in it. I have a Zoom H6, which is a big recorder, probably similar to what Joe had, but I don't think that I've caught an EVP on that yet, because the quality is so high that, and I think that makes a difference. These cheaper recorders sometimes capture things that make you think you caught an EVP when it's like, no, I was probably shuffling my feet or something like that. So,
have you seen my Velisca video, Jeff?
I think I did.
Is it that recorder, the one that Tyler has?
Oh God, I don't remember it in that great a detail.
Oh, he's
I'll
just
have to go back and check it out.
Like pretty big, and it's got like 4 microphones that kind of like cross.
Yeah. It's mine's similar to that. Plus, I can input. So not only does it have the main microphone that I can switch with different types, but I can input 4 XLR cable microphones like this. Yep. And I love that because it records each microphone onto a separate track, so I can run a mic, to this room and one to this room, and you can run mics all over the house and pick up different rooms all at the same time.
Cool. Like a PodTrack 4, which I love. Does the same thing. 4 XLR lines, records each line separately.
Yep.
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh goodness.
Oh damn.
Where's my mute button?
All right.
Oh wait, that's the.
All right, guys. I do have to bail. I have to get some work done.
Work.
Yeah, I got some work.
2 hours on this stream is probably about time.
Yep.
Good talking to you, Kenny.
It was.
Good talking to you.
Thanks for joining. Thanks, Dawson, for jumping on.
You're right.
You guys are leaving too.
Josh, did you say? Yeah, we'll wrap it up. It's
been over 2 hours now.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Yep.
Thank
you,
all of you. Have a good one.
Yep, you too.
See ya. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone.
See y'all.
All right. Later, everybody.
Yep. And one more time, throw that banner up real quick. The winners. I'm sure they already saw it, but I don't. Just text BJ if you would, because I didn't see him. Or no, he wasn't here tonight, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't here earlier, and Jeffrey's here too. So, and Jeff, I still owe you a phone call. I don't know that I'll get to it tonight, but we got to talk about your issue. So,
yeah, I'll get a nice little picture made up, like a little flyer thing for the event, and we'll go live once we're there.
Oh, for sure.
For a little while and hang out, show everybody around the whole location and stuff.
We'll have lots of time to do lots of stuff there, especially since we're doing the whole 24-hour thing, or not 24 hours, but it's 15 hours or something like that, 16.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we got a lot of things planned.
I hope I got enough batteries. I might have to order a couple batteries to
I got 4, which my charger charges 3 at a time.
Yeah.
I got 4 or 5
the one thing, I've got a Canon camera, and the one thing I don't like about it is there's not a separate battery charger. Like, you have to charge it through the camera. So maybe I need to look into that. Maybe they do sell a charger for those batteries. I'll have to look into that. So, all right, man. Thank you everybody for watching. It was fun having Kenny and Crow and everybody else in here too. So
yeah, like usual, I said that we'd probably hop on for about a half hour, maybe an hour.
Yep.
Almost 2.5 hours later.
Yep. Once you start inviting people, and Kenny, like, dude, just always when he starts talking, you just shut up and listen, because it's always so interesting. It's education.
You gonna learn today.
Yeah, exactly.
Later, Sky.
Yep. See you, Sky.
All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by.
Yep. Deuces.
We're out.